When I was 16 years old, I went scuba diving in Greece, just family holiday, and I hoped to see all these beautiful things. I was kind of excited about seeing that, and then I went underwater, and there was hardly any fish, and I just saw lots and lots of plastic bags, and yeah, that was quite disappointing, and I my brain started thinking, like, how do we solve this? What can we do about this? I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I started thinking about systems and technologies that could actually, clean up the plastic in the ocean. I then had to do a high school science project and decided to focus on this problem to understand it more. And after that, I went studying. I went to uni, enrolled in aerospace engineering. But after half a year, I still really couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I thought, okay, let's give this a try. If I really the only way this could have a sort of a non-zero chance of success would be if I would really dedicate all my time to it. And if it doesn't work out, if it turns out to be impossible, I can always just go back to university. So for me, it never really felt like such a huge decision to drop out. And then started the ocean cleanup, and did not didn't look back. I think I've been a maker all my life, I would say. So if really since I was 2 years old, I was already very interested in technology and building things. I built my own chair out of wood when I was 2, and then it turned into things like building computers, making video games, making newspapers, and then I kind of got into chemistry, so it was making things like explosives. And then when I was 12, I wanted to get a Guinness World Record by launching 213 sort of small rockets at the same time, which I did. So I always had my projects. I was never bored. I was curious about everything, and the sort of the making I really enjoyed. So for me, there's an art, a beauty in solving problems, right? So there's there's a complexity involved. It really pushes you, and it's not, sometimes it's, building things, science, technology, it's seen as something very sort of abstract, something that is like kind of a nerd thing. But I think there are a lot of parallels with, making paintings or photography or writing or anything. It's a creative process, right? So, and I think that's what I enjoy a lot about it. It's not necessarily I think it's the combination of using both something that's very precise and mathematical, and on the other hand, something that's super creative. I think that problem solving is really at the interface of those two worlds, and and of course, that's the kind of projects I did as a child were those kind of things on a small scale. But of course, the ocean cleanup is just another example of kind of solving a problem, but then just of course a problem that touches billions of people. So what we do at the ocean cleanup is not just cleaning up the plastic that's already in the ocean. We also work on preventing more plastic from even reaching the ocean. And through our research, we found that just 1% of the world's rivers is responsible for about 80% of all the plastic that goes into the ocean. So if we can stop the plastic in those 1% of rivers, which by the way are still 1,000 rivers, so it's still, a big project, but it's we think it's the fastest and most cost-effective way to stop plastic from going into the ocean it's because if you think about all the plastic that's being consumed, it's about 400 million tons. While if you think about how much plastic is actually going into the ocean, it's a few 100,000 tons. So that's only 1/1000th of all the plastic. So if you try to change the entire plastic economy, if changes the materials that the world uses, change waste management infrastructure, I think ultimately those are key things. But because you're talking about so much material, and also because that amount is growing, right? Like there's billions of people currently climbing out of poverty, and they're using way less plastic today than us in the West are doing. So that's just a very hard and slow process. I think it's going to take decades at least for plastic to not to be properly managed. So I think in the meantime, what we can do, which is cheap and which is fast, is to catch it in rivers before it goes into the ocean. So that's why we developed technologies we call interceptors, which are systems we put in the mouth of these rivers, which catches the plastic before it goes into the ocean. And right now we're stopping roughly 1% of global plastic emissions. We are in 15 rivers across 8 countries. And we're currently finishing the first 20, which are really sort of the pilot projects. And once that's done, we aim to scale up all around the world in a very rapid way. So our ambition let's say in the next 6 to 9 months is to complete those first 20 rivers. So we really have great proof points that show, like, look, we can solve plastic pollution in these parts of the ocean. So let's do it everywhere. I think that's important. So that's really a rivers thing. On oceans, it's about getting to technology that's sort of getting to proven technology, essentially, to show that, look, with this performance, if we do these and these things, we can actually clean up the garbage patch in 10 years' time, which is our goal. So so that's really, really critical that we prepare ourselves for scale up. I think that's the unifying objective for both what we do in oceans and rivers, so that starting in 2025 we can really rapidly ramp up the number of rivers that we're in, the number of ocean cleanup systems we have, and get to clean oceans as soon as possible. So the ocean cleanup is a global nonprofit where our mission is to rid the world's oceans of plastic, which we do by cleaning up the plastic that's already in the ocean, as well as stopping more plastic from reaching the oceans by catching it in rivers. If you look at human history, it's been just a list of, we had all these problems and then we solved these problems. And I truly believe it's the best time yet for humans to live now. I think it can be way, way greater even than today. I think people will look back at the 21st century and be astounded about all the things we couldn't do, and the fact that people still died of diseases, and that we were still breathing in toxic air and had pollution in our ocean. I think those are sort of very primitive things. Like if you think of sort of the maturity of a civilization, I think we are still quite low on those stairs. And if this taught me anything, is that the problems we face today, they're solvable, and there's, you know, the future, as long as we work hard for it, I think the future can be great.